And we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance, flag to my right. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so we have a rather large crowd. I think it's a good idea to do introductions. We got a lot of people on Zoom and some people here. So Mr. Mykowski, start on my far right.
David Mykowski, Board of Finance.
Glenn Heiser, Board of Finance.
John Mace, Board of Finance.
Michael Massarelli, Board of Finance.
Bill Campion, Board of Finance.
Nicole Ducat, Board of Finance.
Sue Tyler, City Council, District 2.
Jacqueline Olson, City Council, District 2.
Cheryl Tebow, City Council, District 3.
Marie O'Brien, Board of Finance.
Mark Dickow, City Council, District 3.
Eric Rosengren, City Council, District 1.
Sebastian Pinheiro, City Council, District 1.
Good. I think this is the first time everybody's been here live in person too, which is very cool. Mayor Jeff Caggiano, and just for those, because we have a lot in the audience, we are going to do our joint meeting. A lot of this is kind of pro forma stuff that comes directly from the Board of Finance, so this should go pretty quickly, and we do have a short presentation as well. So I will move on to number 2, which is the approval of our meeting minutes from November 12th, 2024.
Move approval.
Second.
Any amendments, changes, corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Our consent agenda goes from A through H. Does anybody wish to withdraw anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Got it? Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 4 is Public Works repairs at the Department of Public Works. We need to approve, I'll entertain a motion to approve a transfer of $33,031 within the general fund.
Move approval. Second.
And I think we've talked about this before from the Board of Finance. Any questions from council? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 5. Purchase of the lot on Perkins Street. So we need to make an additional appropriation of $560,000 within the Capital Projects Fund. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Great. I will kind of start this off, and if I miss anything, let me know. We have been approached by P&B LLC, which is a group that bought the Shaffrick property, to go ahead and investigate whether we could purchase the property on Perkins Street that comes into the Hoppers area. And we've talked about this before, but we have come up with an agreement with them, and we have decided to move forward with that letter of intent and also go for a state grant. That state grant will cover 75% of that cost, and the city will be on the hook for just 25% of that cost. This appropriation is for the entire purchase price of the property, and that's the way we do these things. So that's what we're voting on here. I think that's a good high-level description. Any questions or comments?
I'm going to add one thing. If
Sure.
you don't get the grant, the transaction is nullified.
Correct, yes. Through the letter of intent,
Sure.
that is the contingency of the purchase of the property. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments?
One question.
Sure.
Although that may be true, that does not restrict the city or this body or the Board of Finance from taking any other action on the property.
It does not. I would also just recommend for the record here that it was a very shortened window, difficult process to get through. That's the deal that we made forward, and there was a lot of debate and discussion through the city council. So I think we have the best deal that we're going to have. Maybe that's the way I'll put it. Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion carries. I'm going to ask somebody on the left or right of me, because they got the final numbers, to make the next motion if they would. I'm going to give it to Cheryl because you started. Go ahead.
Okay, so I would like to make an additional appropriation of $288,908 for the ARPA task force.
And you don't have to read the rest. So
Okay.
in the record, all of you have it in front of you. There was one other change in the record that was approved in the Board of Finance. For those on the city council, the number for the Center Square parking garage is slightly different at one, I wrote it down.
169,431.
Correct. So, last minute, just for those on the council, but many of you were listening to the ARPA meeting on Monday, we rescinded money from about 7 projects. We moved money around from one parks project that was underfunded, and one that was overfunded. And then we took money and we put it into the Hope Street garage parking structure. That structure was first intended to be fully paid by ARPA funding, but we didn't have enough ARPA funding at one point about 6 or 8 months ago. We now have enough ARPA funding to cover it, so that will be completely covered by ARPA funding. And the final appropriation number that we talked about is for the firehouse number 3 for the HVAC equipment, which is ARPA eligible, and it will make us 100% obligated with the funds even before December 31st, which was our deadline. So a monumental task. Again, I'll say it again, our staff did a wonderful job. Jody's not here, but Diane and her team did a great job. Roger is here. I didn't get to thank him the other night at ARPA, and Justin Malley as well. So a lot of hard work in the last couple of weeks. It's a tremendous accomplishment to be in this position, and we took the complicated route, and it's worked out well. Some great transformative projects about to happen. So questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Now we move on to 2 presentations. The first will be from Diane, who is our comptroller on the monthly revenue reports.
Hello, everyone. I'll keep this short because I know Donna has a presentation for you on school readiness program. You have the report, nothing significant. Everything's kind of in line with last month as far as revenues are concerned. I will say something that was updated at the Board of Finance meeting earlier for the council members. We are going forward with the refunding. Last minute, I guess on Thursday, Friday, Phoenix Advisors ran the numbers again. If you remember, we had to postpone it back in October because the numbers were not in our favor. They are now, so the refunding sale date is next Monday, the 16th. So as soon as those results come out, I'll get those to everyone. So the anticipated savings is roughly, again, as you know, it's all market driven, around $900,000. And we are trying to structure it so that we can achieve most of those savings in those years when debt service is going to have a huge, significant increase. The audit will be issued, I'm told, next week. So very happy about that. They, just to give you an idea of the timeline, they left first week of November, second week of November. This is how long it takes them to go through the tech review and all of their processes. So they've been gone, and really we haven't heard much from them. A couple questions here and there. They're still waiting for one legal letter, and then once they get that, they can date it. We have to sign off on it, and hopefully we'll issue next week sometime. And then you did see, you did vote on everything that the ARPA task force did Monday. So that it's good to have all of those funds obligated, and now we just have to spend it. And I think, you might remember the number, but we actually have expended a good portion of it. I want to say
In
like
this
60 or 70%.
70, the number I remember is 74, but it's in that 60 to 75% range, which is well above most other cities and towns. By the way, everybody has until the end of 26 to actually spend all the money, but we're well ahead of schedule.
So any questions on anything? My report, anything I didn't cover? Did you want to talk about the animal control?
Oh yeah, let's do that now. So it's kind of an old business matter, but Board of Finance has in the past, as you'll remember, changed our bond resolution for the animal control facility to include the purchase of a building if deemed necessary. And another miraculous thing, as we get to the holiday season, we went through all kinds of LEP and testing and due diligence and got another extension from the seller. So at City Council tonight, so Council will do this, but Board of Finance, you don't need to. We will discuss the purchase of that building and move forward with that. And also, we will be looking forward to applying for a state RPIP grant, which is a regional grant for regional projects and hopefully get a lot more coverage for this. But since we have the money allocated and since we will have a share in that, everybody from the animal control facility and a lot of our city employees have done their due diligence, and we're going to go ahead and move forward with the purchase of that property. So,
And we did
Just-
borrow for that too, when we did the note issue, so.
Exactly.
We have the money.
yep, money is available for it.
So with that, I know Donna, I think you have a presentation.
Good evening, everyone. So thank you for this opportunity. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Donna Osach. I'm the School Readiness Liaison, and School Readiness has been in existence here in Connecticut since 1997, which is a really long time. And there's been almost no changes made to that. You can go to I made a really short presentation for you guys.
And I'm going to hold you on for 1 second because I know you opened it up, but I don't think you shared it on Zoom, so I don't think anybody. So if you can minimize that first and then hit right there and then hit share at the bottom. And now you should be able to choose it, see it in the middle to the right, one more over. And now you can play with it. So, but now other people can see it, I
Okay.
think. So, okay, Donna.
Great, thanks.
I think you're good to go.
Of course. And there's been really almost no changes made to this legislation since 1997 until very recently. COVID unearthed a lot of the issues that the field is facing of early childhood, and which prompted the Office of Early Childhood to really look at the whole program. So currently there's multiple funding streams. You can go to the next, even two, and we'll leave this on for a second so everyone can read it. I'm not going to read it to you. I know you can read. My main point is that children who receive a high quality early childhood education are more likely to do well in school, earn higher wages, live healthier lives, avoid incarceration, and contribute to society. And there's been a ton of research over this over the last 40 years. Like I said, you can go to the next one if you want, Erica, thanks. So Connecticut's passed this, like I said, 25 years ago. And so you can see what we're receiving in funding right now. And but they're changing everything. So there's multiple funding streams. It's very complicated. For those of you who have been on City Council or Board of Finance for a while, you've approved grants for school readiness, for child daycare. There's also something called State Head Start. There's all these funding streams that had different rules, different everything, and the state wants to streamline it, make it one, which is good. And but they're making significant changes. So you can see next year, from the Office of Early Childhood, we should receive additional administrative funds. But the big difference is they're going to contract directly with the programs themselves. So we currently have 3 programs: Edgewood Pre-K Academy, Imagination Early Learning Center, and Bristol Child Development Center. Some of you might know it as Bristol Preschool. They'll contract directly, so that money won't have to come through the city anymore. And you might think, well, that's not great. Like, we have some control over it. But honestly, ask Robin. She's dancing, and she's dancing. She's so happy. We spend hours on this every summer. We spend days on it in the summer. Every month, the check's being written. It's a lot of work for the city. So that will all go away. But all the funding will still be in our community, and the liaison role that I've been playing will continue with additional. You can switch to the next one. We'll switch and have additional responsibilities. And the main reason I wanted to share all this with you is because there's going to be big changes to early childhood for the city, for the community, for the state. And when I come to you for my budget request in a couple of weeks or months or whenever that all happens, it's going to be a little bit different. But you can see there's significant, most of it stays the same and adds things to it. The only thing coming off our plate will be the fiscal piece. So I just wanted to, again, share the main highlights of it. We know that kids who, the last thing I want to share with you is the kids who participate in school readiness now, or the child daycare grant, come to be Early Start Connecticut in the future. They really have a leg up over their peers who have no preschool. And as Bristol has changed over the years, and our demographics have changed, we're poorer, kids are coming from more households in poverty, the impact of early childhood, while it's important for all children, is significant for those who don't have the resources at home. So they're hearing language, they're getting exposure to concepts, sharing, etc. The school district says kids are coming behind. Well, trust me, if they didn't have these programs, they would be so behind. The preschools are getting kids behind as well. So, any questions?
Go ahead, Marie.
So I noticed that we will benefit by by about $100,000 going from $100,000 to $200,000 and a $39,000 matching grant from the city to a $50,000 matching grant. So I assume you're going to keep your eye on that and any legislation that changes that ratio.
Absolutely.
For all of us, number one. Number two, looking at this slide, there are a lot of new items under the, I believe, new items under the liaison role that require conducting annual surveys and outreach, which are all very appropriate. Who pays for all of that?
So I believe it's part of the $200,000 grant. Potentially the survey will come, the state hasn't figured what that survey is going to look like. Currently, when they want us to do something, they give it to us and we implement it. So we're hoping it kind of happens in the same way that they provide it for us. With the extra funding, I'm hoping that we'll have enough room for 2 staff. And I've started talking to comptrollers and HR about that, to be able to do all of that, like the outreach and all of that, so.
And my final question is, have you informed organizations like our Main Street Community Foundation, because they have so many donors that are interested in this area, so that should there be these unexpected but certainly predictable increases in terms of how this program is going to develop over the next couple of years, the funding from other sources in our community to do the right thing at the right time?
Absolutely, yes. Susan and I had a long conversation about it recently, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Through the chair.
Great. We'll do Eric.
Are we still going to have the $90,000 deficit for the Bristol School Child Development?
At this point, yes.
Okay.
So what Councilman Rosengren is talking about is the currently funded programs have been told what they're getting next year. And they had to submit a grant for it. Like it's actually due tomorrow. Bristol Child Development Center is slated to get about $90,000 less next year than they're getting right now. The other 2 programs are getting the same, and actually Edgewood will get slightly more as you'll be approving later this evening. They will, I'm sure, be applying for additional funds in the next round of funding, but at this point, it's hard to say if they'll get it or not. So there is a deficit there. So it's about, I think Megan said about 5 or 6 preschool slots and probably half a classroom of infant toddler slots.
Right.
Great. We had Cheryl, and then somebody over here had a question too.
Yes, would you please send this presentation out, please?
Yeah, Erica,
So we all have it.
would you like me to send it or?
Erica could send it. Thank you. And I have a question. You mentioned that Robin was thrilled because there's less reporting requirements or reimbursements. Is there more work that falls on our 3 locations as far as reports and any kind of things? And do they have the staff and will there be training for them so that they can be operationally ready to handle those additional requirements?
So that is a really tricky question, or something so to answer that, they currently do reporting. I check it before it goes to the state. So there won't be that checks and balances. So the reports they'll still continue to do, at least right now that we know about. But I'll be out of the loop. And between us, there have been a lot of mistakes that have been made, not at our local level, but at the state level. So I catch those and like save them that time. In terms of if there's new things that they'll have to do that they won't have support from, I would really hope that there's training from the state, and we'll fight for that. Currently, the liaisons are looked at as the troubled children of the state because we keep saying, but you need to do this, and you need to do this, and what about this? And we're trying really hard to make sure that this is a smooth process for everyone. But,
Thank you.
yeah.
Great. Glenn?
Yes, Donna, thank you.
when we look at this and, for the general student population of this city and across the state, there is an increasing level of percentage of students that are classified as special needs, special ed, from that perspective. Is there in this program, have you seen where there'll be, obviously this helps prepare children quick, better for when they start school? Is there anything that's specifically designated for early detection in this program that could get to the issue or the need at that point in time that potentially would have kind of like a beneficial impact later on, that they are either not as long, not involved or enrolled in a special education program throughout school the way they are now, that they maybe can wean off of that for those that would apply?
Yeah, so it's actually a part of the program right now. The programs all do screenings on the children, whether they have them from, as infants or toddlers or preschool. At all levels, they do screenings. If they see something, and they do it with the family, so it's a joint screening, they raise the flag. If it's a child under 3, they call burst of 3. If it's over 3, they call the Board of Ed. If the child's over 3, not all families are amenable. I mean,
Sure.
It's certainly a hard thing, but the earlier they're in our programs, the more likely they won't need special ed their whole lives. I mean, some children will, obviously.
Right.
But for those who just have a delay, a lot of speech and language. I work in a hallway and there's 4 speech and language pathologists in my hallway. They're very busy. And those kids won't necessarily need speech and language in a couple of years. So early intervention is really, really beneficial for the kids.
Because to get to the budget question that was asked before, I think that would be helpful, with some data, if we can see, because there should be, right? If things go well, an economic benefit or financial benefit down the road because of the cost per special ed student, the way it is on average now versus the general education student. It would be good to see some data after some period of time with this implemented and that impact as we move forward.
Absolutely. I'll do my best.
Maybe just to add to that too, because, in my previous experience with the Board of Education, they've looked at this longitudinally long-term, and getting kids to reading level, math level by 3rd grade is a huge goal. And that's part of the reason why this type of program was started to begin with. So there's clear benefits if you can get to children early to get them on the right track.
Right. So if you could remember, children learn to read until 3rd grade and then they read to learn. So it's critical they're reading on grade level by 3rd grade.
Mark? Do you have any interaction with the Bristol WIC program? Because I know previously there was somebody on the School Readiness Council, and currently there isn't anyone from the WIC program on there now.
Right. So the council requires someone from a early intervention. So we now have someone from the hospital because that position wasn't filled for a few months. But the woman who filled it is on our on the other council that we have. So the other confusing thing, I don't want to get too complicated, but there are 2 councils in Bristol. There's the Bristol Early Childhood Alliance and there's the School Readiness Council. We're merging, we're combining. By like February, we'll be one fully. And so the person who runs that and is staffing that is, we work hand in hand, but she is on our council in that regard. We work closely with her for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else?
I think that was extremely helpful. Appreciate your time. Any other questions?
I appreciate your time as well. Thank you.
Thanks. I think we're good. With no other business before us, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I think we're good. That's not debatable anyway. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You guys went quickly when we were having a side conversation. That's good. We'll start, let's give just 5 minutes so that we can get settled in. We'll start the meeting a little bit late. I apologize. It's 7:15, the regular council meeting. For those that are here, and I see a pretty good crowd, if you want to sign up for to order and ask that we stand for the pledge. Are we ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Great. We are going to move right into the approval of the meeting minutes. those meeting minutes are two, actually. One from November 12th, which was the regular meeting, and the special city council meeting that we had on November 25th. Can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
I'm going to give that one to Jackie. Second to Eric. Any changes, amendments, corrections? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Public participation. I have one person that has signed up, so I'm going to call up Jerry. And Jerry, when you speak, I will just ask you to restate your name and your address just for the record, but I have it down here as well too. So thank you.
Good evening, folks. My name is Jerry Gasandi. I'm a resident of Bristol. I live at 705 Lake Avenue, unit number 70, Secondo Complex in Bristol. The reason for my being here this evening is my sister is a resident of Sheridan Woods. And I apologize if I'm a little nervous. I've never been in front of a crowd like this before. So
Deep breath, you're doing fine.
bear with me. She's been there for, well, since February of this year. I had to relocate her because she was residing at Middlesex Healthcare Center in Middletown, which is also owned by Athena. You're going to probably hear me say the word Athena several times. You all know the reason why. In any case, we just found out several weeks ago, as I'm sure you're all aware, that there's a potential closing of Sheridan Woods as well as Countryside Manor in Bristol, Connecticut, both owned by Athena. I'm going to bounce around a little bit, and I apologize. We know that the facility Abbott Terrace in Waterbury had closed, also owned by Athena, and now they have two other facilities that they want to close in Bristol. I've looked last year when I relocated my sister. I visited 20 nursing homes within a 20-25 radius of where I live in Bristol, and I could not find a nursing home that had a bed available. Understandable to some degree. I put my sister's name on a list. I did find actually a couple of nursing homes that did have some rooms available. Unfortunately, the rooms were too small and my sister could not navigate in the room, so I had to pass on those rooms. After bouncing back and forth with many nursing homes, we finally came across Sheridan Woods. I spoke to the admissions person there. She had a couple of rooms that she showed me over the course of a week or two. Again, same situation. The rooms were too small. My sister couldn't navigate. We finally found a room that was available, that was a good fit, and she's been there since the beginning of February. So she's got to make friends there. She loves the facility. She loves the CNAs there. The CNAs are all wonderful. All the CNAs in these nursing homes are like angels. I just don't know how they hide their wings. They're all angels. Well, here it is. We fast forward to just before Thanksgiving, and we find out that I'm going to have to relocate her again. So it's very heartbreaking for me, for my sister, for me, for the 130 residents that are currently at Sheridan Woods, plus the 80 roughly residents at Countryside Manor, and of course all the employees. I don't know if the city of Bristol is in a position to, how can I use the word, how they're going to approach this. I understand Larry, I don't know his last name, Santinelli, maybe his last name, is the owner of Athena. And I heard these might be rumors, I heard his objective is to, because he owns the property, Sheridan Woods, the facility and the land, his objective is to evacuate everyone from the facility with ulterior motives to do something else with the property, something that might be financially more prosperous for him other than a nursing home. To me, that's just downright rotten. Why would you do that to folks? Why would you take people who are living there and just simply force them out of the facility, along with people who have jobs there, just so that you can do something else that might make more money for you? That is very, very, as I said, rotten. That's my concern, my complaint.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate you coming to City Council. I don't have great news for you because the city doesn't really have any direct impact on this. This is highly regulated industry by the state. The Department of Social Services is the main body that has gotten the request from Athena to shut down. The one piece of maybe comfort that I could give you that I have researched and know is that this doesn't happen overnight. This is a long process.
Agreed.
So we would be there to advocate. I have actually reached out to the Department of Social Services, and the name I was given was Pete Handler. We have not heard back from him yet, but you will have my voice of advocacy to have the state look to make sure that there is maybe a financial buyer or suitor and that maybe the state can come in and help. to maintain it as a skilled nursing facility. So for us to lose 200 spots in the city of Bristol has a bigger ripple effect. You talked about one, but I know of actually 3 or 4 people that have people that live here in Bristol and can go visit their family on a daily basis. If those people have to move out of Bristol, that's certainly a major inconvenience. And also the jobs and, keeping people in Bristol is something that we would want to do. So,
If you don't mind, I'm going to piggyback on something you just said. You mentioned about the fact that potential buyers. I've heard different stories that there are potential buyers or interested buyers who've been trying to contact Larry, the owner, the CEO of Athena, as well as a gentleman named Stu, I don't know his last name, who's Larry's right-hand man.
Yep.
And they have not picking up they are not interested in picking the phone up to speak to any potential buyers.
yeah, and the only thing that I've heard, again, I'm not an expert on this, is that needs to go through DSS. So potential suitors should go through DSS and then get connected with the owner. So I'm happy to offline, if you want to come and make an appointment with me, we can talk about how we might be able to connect with the right people and, people that I know.
I know of interested buyers have actually walked through the facility, and the facility, from what I understand, is 100%. There's no liens on the property. I could be wrong in saying that. From what I understand, the facility is actually 100% or near 100% capable. Whatever issues they had with the state have been addressed. And I know that they've done some renovations on the property. They made the property look prettier, but yet why doesn't this gentleman want to sell?
Yep. And there's some speculation on that. Appreciate your comments, and I wish you the best. I know that there are people here, and I really hope that we keep not only the patients here, but the wonderful nursing staff as well, too. So reach out to my office. We'll try to make connections, and I hope that we can connect you with the state people, because it's their show.
It really is. Okay. And it's like I said, I can't use the word, it's heartwarming, heartbreaking more than you can imagine. So.
Totally understand. Thank you.
Folks.
Good. I don't have anybody else signed up here in City Council chambers, so I'm going to go right to our Zoom participants. Does anybody wish to address the City Council this evening? Last call. Okay, we will move on to announcements, and I think I went to my right last time, so I'll start my left this time. Sebastian, you're first.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's that time of year, so there's a lot of holiday activities going on. The Bristol Chorale will present their holiday concert, Love and Joy, on Sunday, December 15th at 3 p.m. at Bristol Central. Tickets are $20 for adults and $10 for children, 10 and under. They're available now at Michael's Jewelers or by visiting their website at bristolchorale.org. Tickets are also available on Monday evenings at Faith Lutheran Church on Stafford Avenue prior to the chorale's rehearsal between 6 and 6:45. Indian Rock Nature Preserve is hosting Santa's Walking Wonderland for families of all ages. Santa, Mrs. Claus will be there, elves. There will be refreshments, so folks can visit the animals also at the preserve. Tickets are only $8 per person. It can be purchased at the ELCCT website, elcct.org. Pre-registration is required. They're at 501 Wolcott Road is the Indian Rock Native Preserve, and that's on the 13th, 14th, and 15th, and the 20th and 21st. They're pretty much the next 2 weekends, 5 to 7:30 p.m. And also a quick reminder, the Wreaths Across America ceremony is this Saturday at noon at the Lewis Street Cemetery, where the Daughters of the American Revolution and some city volunteers will lay wreaths on veterans' graves to honor our fallen veterans during the holiday season. The public is welcome to just attend or volunteer, and that's this Saturday at noon. Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, Eric. I got to change that time on there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is Eric.
Eric Rosigan. I'm sorry. Thank you, Sebastian. Go ahead, Eric. I'm multitasking.
Just one quick one. I just want to let everybody know that there was a video narrated by Chief Morello that was put up earlier today about the traffic enforcement cameras. It gives you a lot of information either way, whatever you feel. I would recommend you take the 6 minutes. I think it's 6 minutes and 15 seconds with a bunch of different links you can go to after. It's on the Facebook page for the Bristol, Connecticut Police Department. So it gives you good information, so it's not a lot of hearsay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
I don't know if this is the time or if it's going to be something later we can talk about, but for the appointment of the new HR director, if there's something to talk about now.
I think we would hold it till then. So this is just announcements, community events, things of that sort. I think it's more appropriate to hold that.
This past Saturday was the holiday showcase of stars, which was very well attended. It's put on by the community. It was their 19th anniversary. Next year will be their 20th anniversary. They are looking to have a bigger and better show and hoping for more people to show up.
Excellent. Thank you, Mark. Cheryl?
Well, let's find those cast members because we have a casting call out for the 84th OM show. And this will be held at Rockwell Theater, where the show first had its first show back 84 years ago. The show is called Country Girl, Love, Heartbreak, and the Pursuit of Happiness. And it will include country pop music from Dolly Parton, Taylor Swift, Shania Twain, Luke Bryan, and many more. So we're now casting for singers and dancers, children, all the way up to adults. The first cast gathering will be on January 5th, and rehearsals will follow on Sunday, starting the 12th at the Boys and Girls Club. So if you have Facebook, you can go to the OM show, or you can go to OM Keystone, or if you still are not sure how to get in touch with them, just reach out to me. I'll put you in touch. But we really want to have a robust cast of youth and adults. It's a great show. This is number 84, and all proceeds go back to the Boys and Girls Club. So this is a great fundraiser. Some of the events that are coming up at Rockwell Theater through the Arts and Culture Commission on Saturday, January 18th. This is kind of a unique kind of program. It's called the Soul Session. There are going to be over 15 artists. 4 of them are local from Bristol, that we're going to have a night of live music. There'll be art. There'll be the essence of jazz, rhythm and blues, and neo soul music. You'll have time to meet with some of the creators, some of the performers. So there'll be a kind of a meet and greet. You'll listen to them sing. You'll talk to them about their art. There'll be auctions. And this is done in partnership with the Arts and Culture Commission and Paradigm Arts and Culture Foundation. So we're looking to fill Rockwell Theater and have this event. It's over 4 hours. Tickets are only $37, and it's going to be culturally a great event that you won't want to miss. We're finishing up the year with throwback films. It's a Wonderful Life, okay? The one quote, "No man is poor who has friends." From that movie. Tickets are $5, and that'll be Thursday, the 19th. And then we're going to do our 6th show of the community conversation. This is 1 degree of separation. And depression has 1 degree of separation, meaning if you don't suffer, then somebody you know does. And this free routine, it is a community conversation with comedic acts, will be on Saturday, January 25th. There is no charge, but you do need to reserve a seat. So once seats are filled, it'll be gone. So you'll want to check that out. And that is it for my announcements, sir.
I just want to piggyback. I don't have any other announcements on the 1 degree of separation. I was actually disappointed in the number of people that turned out for a free event that blew my wife out of the water, and she is not somebody that typically goes to those things. So anybody that is within earshot right now, it is incumbent upon you to make sure that you and your family members go. The comedic act was great, and it was also a great conversation. So I actually think that the All Heart City should fill that theater for at least that event. Every other one as well, too, but that one I just wanted to highlight.
You know, through the chair, there will also be informative booths from 6 different, the National Alliance on Mental Health, Bristol Burlington Health District, to name a few, who will have information available so that if somebody is suffering from depression or a mental health issue, there'll be resources that you can match up with to help you in your situation.
Yeah, it was funny, it was entertaining, and it allowed people to go ahead and talk about something that nobody wants to talk about. So I highly recommend it, and I'll go again. Jackie.
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, I have some announcement for Parks and Rec. The registration for 2025 winter and spring programs is in full swing. Today was registration for residents, and tomorrow is registration for non-residents, and it starts at noon. For information on how to register, you can go online to bristolrec.com, or you can call 860-584-6160. The pickleball nets will remain up and courts will be open through the winter at Seymour Park. I don't know who's gonna play pickleball in the cold, but you never know.
I've done it before. You crack your pickleball though, you gotta be careful.
Yeah. The Page Park tennis courts will be open through March pending revitalization construction. Peck Park will not be available and will be locked this winter. Players assume full responsibility for determining safe court conditions. Also, there's Learn to Swim at Dennis Malone Aquatic Center. This is an 8-week program and it's offered on Saturday and Sunday, and it's according to ability and age. The winter program is January to March. Registration opens at noon on January 7th for the residents and January 8th for non-residents. The 2025 winter spring programs include 2 new programs, Adult Learn to Swim and the Pine Lake Adventure Park Climbing Camp. Other programs are February and April Vacation Camp, instructional pickleball clinics, Kids Night Out, aquatic Zumba, Food Explorers, aquatic aerobics, Pilates, and yoga fusion. So any other programs that come along, I'll announce as we get closer to the date. And that's what I have. Thank
Great.
you.
Thanks, Jackie. Sue?
Thank you. Just a few announcements from the police department. Their toy drive is still ongoing and that runs until December 20th. You can drop off any unwrapped toys to their front desk in their lobby. And all of the toys do go to local Bristol families. Also on December 17th, which is a Tuesday, down at the subway at 123 Farmington Avenue from 4 to 7. They are having a fundraiser for Honor Them Hockey Club, and 20% of all sales go to the Honor Them Hockey Club, which will in turn give One Bristol Youth a gift of hockey. Also from the 4P to 7P, in addition to any of you, 20% of the sales going to this benefit, there will also be Honor Them hockey players and also our Bristol police officers. So stop down and support this. The only other thing that I have is last week, we did hire 2 lateral transfers from Hartford PD, which brings our total numbers up to 121. We are still 3 short, but we're getting there. And the only news I have for the senior center, just let your loved ones be aware, the winter class registration for 2025 starts on January 7th. And it also continues on January 8th, but those fill up really fast. So make sure you spread that word. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Great. Any other announcements we miss? All right, we will move on to number 5, which is our consent agenda. There's items A through I. Does anybody wish to withdraw anything from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, we move on to number 6, which is reports and committee reports. Our first is salary committee, so I'll turn that over to you, Cheryl.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Item 6A is a motion to increase the wages of part-time and seasonal employees of the Parks and Rec Department effective January 2025. This is necessitated because the state of Connecticut has raised the minimum wage for these entry-level positions, again, effective January 1, 2025. Boy, I can't talk today. Well, some of the positions that are on the list that are included in the packet are not necessarily entry level. We do the same increase, keep them proportional with those that are in higher positions so that we don't suffer from wage compression. If we didn't do that, you'd have an entry lifeguard pretty soon, maybe making the same as the supervisor lifeguard and so forth. So we've done this each year. We start with the beginning position and maintain the same difference between the positions. There is a year 1 rate, and if an employee should come back in year 2, 3, 4, or whatever, they're given the year 2 rate. So the list is included in the packet, and it did come out of the salary committee and was approved. So the motion I'd like to put forward is to approve increases to wages of part-time and seasonal employees in the PRY and CS effective January 1, 2025, and to refer to the Board of Finance for informational purposes.
Second.
Questions or comments from the group?
To the chair, I just want to know, I was the lone no vote on the salary committee for this. There is quite a list of folks here getting a bump, and I understand, wage compression and that aspect of it, and I feel the folks around minimum wage should get a bump. We have folks on the list here upwards of $35, dollars an hour, $30 an hour. Some of them are seasonal, as we mentioned. I don't feel that we should be giving a bump to this many people, especially given the budget picture. But that's where I stand on it. I'm a no vote tonight also. I feel we should revise the list essentially.
Can I ask a question? What was the total uplift of the salaries? There must have been a calculation. I didn't see it here. I know last year we did do something similar.
Yes.
Between $20,000 to $30,000.
Total expense. Other questions or comments?
One just
Yep,
thing.
go ahead, Cheryl, and then we'll go to Sue.
The Parks Director did feel he might be able to cover this in his budget already as well. And the increase after July 1 would be in the new budget.
So we push this out through the second budget year then too, this change. We won't be doing this again next year necessarily.
Well, we should think about that. We should budget this increase for July 1 through December 31st, but knowing this is probably going to come again, do that same increase for the second part of the year.
Yep. Sue, you had a comment or a question?
So just for clarification, so this is only for wages of part-time and seasonal employees?
Yes.
Correct.
And how many employees is that? I know Sebastian referred to some pay rates that were higher. How many employees does this actually affect?
The position quantities are in the item for, let's see. No, I'm sorry, they're not. Maybe, Linda, okay, come on, thank you.
And while she's coming up, one other thing I do want to point out is just a point of clarity, because we actually had a park board meeting last night in this budget moving forward. If you look at people like the outdoor adventure program director, that current salary is at $35.59. We did not hire enough outdoor adventure program directors this past year. So some of this wage increase is also to make sure that we have qualified applicants that fill that position as a going rate. So that I hear what Sebastian is saying, but I also know that some of these are difficult positions to hire.
It's approximately 100 to 200 seasonal employees from January through December. And the reason why the increase is because the governor has the initiative set up that each year he checks and goes through what the index is, the price index is, and he puts out on October 15th what the new minimum wage will be for the next January. And that's what he did this year. So it is a little difficult to come up with a budgetary, but you do your best. So that's what they had to do.
Yep. And 95% of these, as I look through them too, are summer, late spring to early fall employment.
They've got the school season and the summer season.
Yep.
Yeah.
Are any of them at minimum wage?
Slightly above, correct? Right, the
Just
lowest
slightly
wage?
above. The only ones that are at minimum wage are interns.
And they would automatically be given the increase to match?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Through the chair, some of these positions are also fairly unique and require special talents. I know that a lot of facilities are struggling to hire lifeguards right now. They can go anywhere. You do not want to lowball something like this, or we're not going to be able to offer the programs, which is a direct impact on the revenues as well. So some of these are offset by the revenues that they bring in. For example, the adventure park, okay? We charge a revenue and we only staff it when we have a program that's coming in that's basically paying that salary. So some of them generate the revenue that are associated with the program. Same with the camp thing. If there's, we hire specialty to run a summer camp and they won't have the revenues coming in to offset. So it's not just that you're looking at saving some money. If you don't fill it and you can't attract the talent, you won't have the corresponding revenue.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult thing. The one thing I will be supporting this, the one thing I'll recommend is that maybe we look out a little bit further to try to make sure that we have these increases get us through the 2 budget years in the future and not do this every year. Because and again, my opinion is if we do it every year, we're given that little bump on the minimum wage to starting, and then that compression pushes all the way down. It's not a huge amount of money for the types of services that we offer in the city, and our parks have enjoyed a great rebirth, and we're spending millions of dollars in our parks, so we certainly don't want to see them empty either. Eric, you have a comment or question?
Yeah, I heard something about the Parks Department may be able to absorb that into their current budget at this time, so it will not be a cost to.
Well, they were under budget at the previous year, and this budget will be potentially covered by the cost. So it's not a major impact to their budget. They have one of the larger budgets in the city. So,
Yeah, I do agree we need to look at something going forward too, though.
to try to project out a little bit
Project out a
further.
little bit so we can budget for it.
Jackie?
Do we have a number as to the total amount all of the increases will be?
Yeah, we already said $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh, okay, all right. I
Which
didn't
is
hear that.
Josh believes he can absorb in his current budget request. We
Right.
did see last night at the Parks Board, Jackie, you and I were there, that his budget request is pretty much flat for the next fiscal year. So
Through the
I
chair.
guess,
Okay.
sorry.
Jackie
I
and
guess
Cheryl, and then I'm probably going to
struggle
call the
with
question.
fact that if somebody's already making minimum wage, the new minimum wage or higher, why we're bumping them up?
It's to attract people and make sure that these lifeguards, and the one that I know the most because they had a hard time this year is those group leaders for the outdoor adventure program. They can't take the revenue into that new park that we just upgraded if they don't have instructors and teachers in that program. So that's a higher wage one. And, you know, just to go back to what Sebastian said, that increase is, you know, somewhere in the 70-cent range, but it is a $36 an hour job.
Through the chair, I think even if we do budget this, we will still have to bring it to the council to approve the wage, the salaries.
Yeah, we have budget
Regardless, so it
process.
will come back up. It's just you probably won't see the impact or guess the impact.
In the detail here.
Correct.
All right, I'm going to call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Is there anybody opposed?
No.
No.
We have 2 in opposition. Motion does carry. I think a very good discussion, and it's a good prelude into our budget year, which probably will be a tough budget year this year. So I appreciate all the comments. You have another one, Cheryl.
I do. This is item 6B, and this is a motion to approve the hiring of a temporary employee in the Department of Aging from January to April 2025 for 4 nights per week and to refer to the Board of Finance for funding.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Jackie?
Okay.
Go ahead,
All
Cheryl.
right. Jason Kruger came to us. He's the director for the Department of Aging, and was talking about the continuing practice that they have of having evening programs, and there is no paid staff working. There are 2 janitorial positions that are there. And some of the programs that are coming into the senior center are supervised by volunteers, and this could be potentially a liability to the city. It's had a great discussion with Corporation Counsel. This request for the temporary employee is for a time so that they can gauge the information on the evening usage. Our senior center is becoming one of the most actively used facilities that we have. With our growing population, there's a lot of demand for time on that building. This employee will look at the usage, will gauge it, and decide if it warrants a permanent position to be added to the budget at a later time. The estimate, I believe we had was around $4,000 for this. This employee will not just be babysitting, there'll be other tasks that they can do for the senior center during these hours. But it basically allows a full, more robust use of the facility while reducing our liability to the city while we gauge the use.
Great.
To the chair.
Yep, go ahead, Jackie.
This is one that I did a lot of struggling with only because I do use the senior center at nighttime. I think that the liability was more geared towards the pickleball players, which is where we go to play. And I know that last year there were people coming in that were not members and or they were not even seniors, so they shouldn't even have been there. I have noticed in the recent few weeks that we have a very small group now that goes and plays at nighttime. And I know for a fact that they are all members and everybody signs in. As far as liability, well, you do sign a waiver when you become a member of the senior center. But I did have a conversation with Jason today, and one of the things that he mentioned was the fact that the growing population of seniors 55 and older is growing. And they would, a lot of them, of course, are still working full-time, so they're going to be using the senior center on a more regular basis. So the position would cover a lot more because the person would be able to sign people up at night. They wouldn't necessarily have to go during the day. So with that said, he did change my mind. If I weren't a member of the city council, I probably would apply for the job.
Good to hear. And just to remind people, there are 4 people currently working in that senior center, which is growing on an average of 15 or 20 people per month. One of the smaller staffs that we have with one of the larger turnouts for these events. The Board of Finance, by the way, did have a workshop today. It went through there, and I think their eyes were opened wide on how much is happening in our senior center. So other comments or questions? I think we're going to be more agreeable on this one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, we move to 6C, Real Estate Committee. Sue, you have one of those.
I do. Okay. I hereby move that the City of Bristol approve the lease agreement by and between the City of Bristol, landlord, and the Police Mutual Aid of Bristol Incorporated, tenant, for a portion of the property located at 131 North Main Street, basement floor, Bristol, Connecticut, to be used for the purposes of an exercise, fitness, and shower room facility for the term of a 1 year commencing January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025 for the annual rent of $1 per year. I further move that this matter be referred to the Corporation Council to prepare and/or review any necessary documents. I further move that the mayor or acting mayor be authorized to execute any necessary documents to effectuate the same.
Second.
Great.
This
Sue?
this is for the police gym downstairs in the basement. I think that we have renewed this 1 year lease every single year since they put the gym in the basement. And it is just to continue.
Yep. Questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Sebastian, we have a couple of ordinance items. Go ahead and take it over.
I'll begin with a motion to waive the reading here. In accordance with Section 41F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, I hereby move that the reading of the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances to be introduced this day pertaining to Section 19-17 ranks and grades in the police force be waived.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Go ahead, Sebastian.
In accordance with Section 41F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinances are hereby introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 at 4:50 p.m. at 111 North Main Street, City Hall, Room 1-1, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by city charter.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Great. Sebastian, do you want to add any clarity to this? This is really
This is
adding in captain and just
Right,
changing
right.
language to
Reflected
fit
in,
what we do.
I believe detective lieutenant to captain title change. Police union does not oppose the title changes here.
Yep. Other questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion carries. Sebastian, you got one more.
Sure. And this just follows. Begin with a motion to waive the reading. In accordance with section 41F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, I hereby move that the reading of the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances to be introduced this date pertaining to section 2-97.3 retirement benefits and their payment generally be waived.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries and the ordinance change.
In accordance with section 41F of the Charter of the City of Bristol, the following amendments to the Code of Ordinances are hereby introduced. I hereby move that the time and place of Tuesday, January 7th, 2025 at 4:55 p.m. at 111 North Main Street, City Hall, Room 1-1, Bristol, Connecticut, be set for the holding of a public hearing thereon by the Ordinance Committee, and that the city clerk publish notice of said public hearing and the proposed amendments to the Code of Ordinances as required by city charter.
Second.
Great. And Sebastian, this adds deputy chief, right? Is that the change, the main
I
change?
believe so.
Yep. Questions or comments on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right. Any committee reports will stay with you, Sebastian, and we'll come down the line. Do you have any?
No additional reports. Thank you.
Okay, great. Eric, do you have any committee reports for us?
Yeah,
DOE?
just a quick one from the School Readiness Committee.
Okay.
Tomorrow, December 11th, the School Readiness Health Committee is hosting its Zoom series for parents from 6 to 7. This month's topic is preventing respiratory illness. Registration is required to enter Zoom, which you can find on Facebook at Making Bristol Better. News. Good news. The good news is that Edgewood Pre-K Academy is receiving 15 additional school readiness preschool spaces starting January 1, 2025, which means that families pay on a sliding fee scale. Families who are looking for part-day preschool should call them at 860-584-7828. Again, this was in the Board of Finance, but I'm going to just bring it up again. The state is changing the way it funds the early childhood development programs beginning July 2025. At this point, Bristol Child Development Center will lose more than $90,000. The School Readiness Council is advocating for the state to reconsider its funding decisions due to the significant resources that have gone into the state-funded system over more than 25 years to ensure the high quality. To raise some money, the Bristol Child Development Center will be hosting a Panera fundraiser on December 14th from 4 to 8. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric. Mark, do you have anything on committee reports?
I do not.
Okay,
Yes, Mayor, I guess
Yep.
I'm next.
you are? Sorry.
A couple of real quick things. I just want to report that we have a brand new website of our own for the Rockwell Theater. It is downtownlivect.com. All one word, downtownlivect.com. This is a new website just dedicated to events at the theater. We urge everybody to log in, take a look, sign up for the emails, and you'll know about all the shows that are coming. The Transportation Commission, our survey is out there on SurveyMonkey. We plan to review the results in our January meeting. It's posted on Facebook and various places, and I believe somebody was going to convince you to load it, so you might be getting an email.
Okay, I'm happy to do it.
The Fire Board, the groundbreaking for the new Station 3 will take place on Thursday, 12/12, and the time is still 11, is it? I believe
It might
is.
be 10
10,
o'clock. It might
10
be
a.m.?
earlier, but we will avoid the
Okay.
rain that way. So
Although it's only really ceremonial, the significant groundwork is already underway. We also want to report that new engine number 5 is undergoing final inspection and should be in service relatively soon. We also have a ladder truck that's going through construction as well. We've learned that the approximate time for construction of a new fire apparatus is now about 4 years. So therefore, adequate and thoughtful planning is required, especially when we look at the budget later on this fall. We might be talking about this fall, this next first quarter, might be looking at an engine that might not be in service for several more years. But I just want to remind everybody that through this process, by early ordering, we have saved the city over $250,000 through that to avoid substantial price increases by locking in. And then
we also paid cash and didn't bond that, by the way, which is good.
And then I want to turn to the animal control facility. We had some discussion in joint board, but we have received the environmental reports for 30 Cross Street, which the committee has reviewed. While there appears to be a very, very small area under the 6-inch concrete slab, the plume has not traveled, and our LEP has indicated that remediation would only be necessary should the building be demolished. None of the other tests, none of the other locations indicated any issues at all. And we don't intend to take down the building. Therefore, the committee voted yesterday at a special meeting to seek council approval for the mayor to negotiate for the sale of the asset. This is 30 Cross Street. So I'm going to have a motion that I'd like to bring to the table in a minute, but just, I'll wait for new business. That's correct. Additionally, further down in the agenda, we will be seeking approval from the council to apply for a grant to pay for the building improvements and rehabilitation through a grant using NVCOG. So we'll be talking about that later on down in the agenda. I just want to thank our committee, our leader, Lindsay Rivers. I'd like to thank Ray and Roger for their help to get us to the point that we are now. This is a building that when we talk about it, we'll under item 8, I'll share more, but we're excited about this. We're just moving ahead. So those are my committee reports.
One quick thing through the chair.
Yep.
About downtown live. I bought tickets for my mother and her friend to go to the swinging holiday.
Gosh, you.
And downtown worked out perfectly. She went with her girlfriends, got an appetizer at Pint and Plate, went to the show, and I met up with her with my friends after at Iron Horse. So we kept it downtown, and it was a wonderful evening.
I'll tell you, that show, Steve Lapierre, I think I'm pronouncing his right. If you closed your eyes, you would think Frank Sinatra was on the stage. He was that awesome. So we're getting some real good quality talent. I know, Ed, you were at the show. He was fabulous. So if you haven't tapped into any of the shows, you don't know what you're missing. Thank you for that.
Great, you're all set with
I am
committee
set,
reports?
thank you.
Committee reports, Jackie, any?
Just a couple of things I wanted to mention from Public Works. The Shrub Road Sidewalk Project is scheduled for bidding and construction in April of 2025. The completion of the Hope Street parking garage is scheduled to be completed in April as well. And the Meadow Kelly parking garage, which is right near us, has been completed and the certificate of occupancy has been received.
Which means we can get our funding back from the state, which is excellent.
That's right.
Yep. And then we better mention this as well, too, since you brought up April. That is the proposed date for the finishing of the Jerome Avenue Bridge. So I just have to say that again. We had originally hoped that it'd be done around this time, but there was serious delays with the initial construction, but things are back on track. Sue, any committee reports?
Just a quick update for code enforcement. I just want to remind everyone that code enforcement meetings are the first Wednesday of every month, with the exception of January 2025, because that would be on New Year's Day, and I won't be here for that. So in January, our meeting is January 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it is held here in City Council chambers, and it is also available on a Zoom link. And I strongly encourage, if you've never attended a code enforcement meeting, to come and attend. You would be surprised at how much work is being done in our city to clean it up and to make sure that our properties are up to par. For the total month of November and for the month of December to date, which it's only the 10th of December, we have collected in fines over $45,000 for our code enforcement activity and our enforcement. The list of like property management and quality of life issues being addressed by our committee is so expansive. I'm not going to bore you to death to name them all. But one of the ones that have popped up on the radar, our new zoning officer has been sending out a multitude of letters on those signs that you see stuck at intersections. Different companies, you know, different companies think that they can just come into Bristol and stick these signs at different intersections. Well, our zoning officer has been extremely busy. I've lost count at how many letters have gone out to these businesses. We have an ordinance that prohibits all of these signs being put all over our streets. So that's just one thing that is being worked on right now. I just want to give a shout out to our code enforcement team. They're getting a lot accomplished.
Yep, a lot happening. So certainly you've been re-energized. Thank you for that work and effort, and a lot of compliance being found with those notices of violation, the warnings, and the citations. So good stuff. I think that's all our committee reports. Old business. We almost never take up old business, but I'm going to invite Justin up from ECD. Had an issue that he would like to talk about that is no action needed tonight, but he wanted to give an update to all of us on 43 East Main Street. Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, appreciate you hearing me tonight. Just wanted to update the council on something that changed a little bit. In July, we received approval to apply for a grant through NVCOG for environmental work at 43 East Main Street down in Forestville. The idea is we need to complete some environmental work, specifically a phase 2 assessment on that site, and hopefully with the goal of eventually remediating and paving that property for some shared parking and some other things. The good news is we received that grant, but when we came originally in July, we were unaware of a match requirement for that grant. So in July, we received approval from this council to apply for $75,000 for that phase 2 assessment. We were, or at least I was made aware when we received the award that there is a 10% match on that. And so we weren't awarded our full $75,000 ask. We were awarded $65,000, which we can live with. But there is a 10% match to that, which is $6,500. That will be going to the Board of Finance. That's the next step on this journey. When we receive grants, we go to Board of Finance for the appropriation of the grant, and then the match, if there is a match. So the match piece will be going, if this council is okay with it, to the Board of Finance on Tuesday. But this is new information. I wanted the council to know that there is a match. We weren't aware of that back in July, so we didn't explain that to the council. You all approved it. So in case anyone saw that from this council Tuesday night, you're not caught off guard. I apologize. It came up and I want you to be aware of it.
Yep. Any questions or comments? Go ahead.
Right, that's just on the environmental, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I have a request when you put in the parking lot.
We're getting there, yeah.
Yeah, that we put in some kind of access to the river so people could fish off the end and picnic tables and something like that. I think it would enhance Forestville.
100%. That would be great.
Yep. And it's a very important piece of property to help for development down in Forestville. So I appreciate Justin moving forward, and he felt it was important. This isn't typically brought to council because there's no action for us to take right now, but thank you for being proactive and transparent.
Just so no one's surprised by that.
Yep. Very good. Is there any other old business? All right, I'm not aware of old business. I am definitely aware of quite a few new business items. I'll actually turn it over to Cheryl first because she already mentioned one of them. So we'll start with that one.
Okay, thank you. I would like to bring to the table a motion to bring 30 Cross Street to the council.
Yep. So we'll serve that as
you can want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah, go ahead with that.
I make a motion to recommend the purchase of 30 Cross Street for use of an animal control facility and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any documents necessary.
Second.
Great. And now you can explain to us a little bit more about the process. I think you got everything else, but I want to just make sure that people also have the opportunity to ask questions if need be.
Okay, so we've been looking at this building for quite some time. I think everybody's aware of the history that our current facility is not desirous. It certainly won't meet with the new requirements the state has put in place, which go into effect in 4 years. But prior to that, we've done a lot of work by, looking and hiring an architect to present some plans in the beginning. We came up with a price, then we found out the state changed the rules. So we also found out that the location where our current facility won't work and that the adjacent parking lot's not available. So this building was found. It's the former home of the Wolf Pack. It's very close. It's one street over from Public Works. It's from the current facility. After several tours and looking at this, we feel this would be an adequate facility for us to have. The money was put forward in the budget. It's available, it's been appropriated, and we're ready to execute the sale of this building. And I'll talk about the grant later on as, in that item, but that is the situation.
Very
what
good.
We'd like to
And
have it.
just the reason why it's kind of skipping Board of Finance, because the Board of Finance already approved the appropriation, the original about 2 million appropriation that includes the purchase of the building. If after we did our due diligence, we decided to move forward with that, and we're looking to do that as soon as possible to take advantage of the offer that the seller gave us, where all of the money we've been paying in lease is going to go towards the purchase price of the property. I think that rounds it out. And I think you're all familiar with that, but I wanted to make sure. Did we have a second on the motion?
Yes,
Yeah, we
that was
did. I thought we
Jackie.
did. Very good. Questions or comments from anybody?
I have a
Oh,
question.
Go ahead, Mark.
I know that there's been some complaints back from when Wolfpack was there about sound. Is there going to be anything done with like soundproofing the building at all? Because at nighttime, they say it was very disturbing next door for them to get to sleep.
Right. The committee's done a lot of discussion on this item. The building as it exists is not currently insulated, which leads to that. There's also the way the animals were housed is very different, where they were grouped together, they'd play together. And when animals play together, they tend to bark more. Dogs also tend to bark more when a human enters in to a facility. So between the insulation, the way the facility is going to be structured, the way layout of the actual cages, a lot of talk's gone into, do you have the cages, offset each other so the animals don't see each other and aggravate each other? There'll be separate rooms for healthy pets, for those that need to be quarantined, for the cats elsewhere. Because the overall thing is not only do we want our neighbors to be happy, but we do not want to stress out the animals. I have talked personally with a couple neighbors in the area to discuss their concerns. And, right now we've alleviated those kind of concerns, but we are well aware of it. And one of our goals is to insulate to make sure that the sound stays within the building. A lot is how you operate the building as well.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to.
Great
just
question.
A little bit of clarity though, too. I think the bigger issue is actually, I don't think they housed dogs overnight, by the way, in the previous facility, but they had 30, 40 dogs that would go out and play during the day. It is also in an industrial zone, so even back when we had those complaints, it was falling within the decibel parameters. But I also encourage people to go by our current facility, and you will see that these facilities are operated very differently, as Cheryl explained. And just to let people know, we're partnering with Plymouth already. So whatever you're seeing over at the Public Works yard, basically, is what people would see. So taken into consideration, good question, good thought process. Cheryl, Sue?
Just one question. Did the seller also, we did need an extension at one point?
We have that extension through December 15th, so that's why we're trying to.
And the
bring this
seller
into new
still
business.
agreed to let us put that towards the purchase price?
Correct.
Nice.
Yep. Other questions? All right, we will call this vote. All those in favor? Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Good job. Congratulations. We have a few of these types of things coming forward. So actually, next on my list, Mark, I'd like to have you bring up something that kind of came through ECD on 37 Main Street.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to sign a parking agreement for 37 Main Street at $9,600 a month for 21 spots.
Great. Can I have a second?
Second.
So this is the property that Steven Shapiro is bringing forward, has gotten approval through zoning at the old Mafali's Plaza, so that's the way you may know it better. The parking lot in question is the parking lot that is city-owned property right by the Board of Ed. Is probably got about 50 spots that I don't think on any occasion I've ever seen full, even when the Board of Ed has huge, events. So they will be using 21 of those spots. That contract will go through, I think, 3 escalations every 5 years, renewable, so that they will have an escalator as well. Really good investment for us to get a property that's going to have about 28 units and a retail facility on the first floor. So came through mostly ECD, so I'm not too sure if all of you have heard about this too much. So I just want to see if there's any questions from the group.
So 21 spots at
$1,600
a month.
Yeah, we basically priced it out at 20 spots for them because that was the original request. They went through zoning and needed 20 spots, so we kept it the same. And I'm very honest with all of you, this is an underutilized lot that hasn't actually been used at all, so I wouldn't have agreed to $1, but we're doing very well with 9,600 bucks, and it's really to spur on the development, which they need.
Another question.
That's a month or a year? I'm sorry.
That's yearly, so it's
Oh, that's-
only
so it's
at
not a
like
month.
$45 a spot per month, I believe, so $9,600 yearly. Yeah, that would have been very expensive. That would have not made the project happen.
Being that it's city property, we're required to keep the upkeep and keep it clean and all that with, I'm just wondering if, when these people come in and park, is that going to create more work for our city workers to clean? And also just a thought, I don't want to put more burden on,
Yeah,
city workers if that's, because it's
it's
not
been
being
a-
used now, so.
General open parking lot. I wouldn't say it's not been used now. It's just not in that part. It's probably
I
not heavily
see
used
people
the
hanging
way
out
people
there, but
drive
not cars.
around. Yeah, I think, $9,600 will be better for the upkeep than zero.
I'm just thinking, that's all.
Yep, no, I appreciate thinking proactively. You sound like Attorney Conlon. I like that. All right. Any other comments or questions on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, Chief Morello, I think you are the last one to come up under new business. And if you could come up and just give us a little bit more information, because this is on the CERT response team mutual aid addendum that we just need to approve. That we have authorization to sign, so.
So that's-
Good. Oh, yeah, I forgot about these.
That adds an additional line to include the Cheshire Police Department, town of Cheshire. We would absorb them onto the SWAT team.
Okay.
They disbanded their regional team and need a new home, so. Our proximity with Southington, bordering Cheshire, it made sense, so.
Okay, very good. And we've done this every year, so the only additional change is to add in Cheshire, correct?
Correct.
Very good. So I need a motion to,
You said SWAT team. I thought you said CERT team.
well,
SWAT.
Central Region
Okay, okay.
Emergency Response Team, sorry,
Thank you.
that's also another acronym that I
I
kind
haven't
of,
had enough coffee yet.
Yeah, no, it's both, but that's my mistake for not being clear on that, so I apologize.
Questions on that?
Any questions? No. So we need a motion to go ahead and authorize, and we're going to actually authorize the chief to go ahead and sign it because he signed
So
it in the
moved.
past.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. So that's the last thing we have to vote on, but under new business, I also wanted to, which actually I was probably supposed to do under old business, but that's all right. I wanted to remind all of you that we had rescinded our 8-24 on Candlewood and Violet Drive. And so this is just notification. The Bristol Planning Commission at its meeting of November 25th, 2024, accepted the request to withdraw the pending 8-24 review of Candlewood Drive, map 2, lot 120-9 from attorney Jeff Stieg. And then I'll just read the other one into the record. The Bristol Planning Commission at its meeting of November 25th, 24, accepted the request to withdraw the pending 8-24 of Violet Drive, map 2, lot 129-2 from attorney Stieg. And as we get maps and more information, we'll send that back to the Planning Commission. I covered it. Very good. Do we have any other new business?
Yes. I'd like to talk about the new appointment for human
We aren't on appointments yet. We're gonna go to resignations and then appointments, and then we will go ahead and do that. I promise I'll get to you on that one. So any other new business? Okay, resignations. Go ahead, Erica, with our resignations.
Kristen O'Donnell resigned from the Planning Commission. Emily Michaud resigned from the Park Board. Mary Beth Makowitz resigned from Bristol Historic District Commission. And Patricia Yulin was a Section 2-9 from the Animal Control Facility Building Committee.
And Erica, I just wanted to check with you. I was checking with Sebastian, and I believe we have, we've been waiting for 2 or 3 months from Nikki Laporte. So we have not hit a 2-9 for the Cemetery Commission on that one?
I haven't been notified.
Okay. And Sebastian, what I'll do is just to make sure it's official, let's go back and make sure that the Cemetery Commission notifies Erica, and then next month we will be able to do that appointment, because I don't think we're going to get the resignation letter that we've been waiting on.
Through the chair, I thought Patricia had sent in a resignation for animal control. Okay, she probably didn't send it to you.
Yep.
Okay.
She did kind of resign. These are technicalities,
Right.
but not a
Okay.
big deal. I know that Nikki has verbally resigned as well, but if we don't get it in the 3-month period when they don't show up, it's a 2-9. It's just a formality, not a big deal. So, and she was a very, very good, animal control as well as others advocate. Well, so
She was part of Friends for, the Friends of Animal, what do they call it? Bristol Animal Facility.
Yep.
I make a motion to accept the resignations, put them on file, and have a letter sent to each individual thanking them for their service.
Second.
Great. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll get to you 1 second. We do have openings on Historic District Commission, Inland Wetlands, as you heard, planning will also be one that we just have a new opening on. We still have a transportation one too, right?
Yes, we do.
Yep. And then we still have a youth commission opening. So we have an awful lot of appointments here. So before we get to the appointments, Mark, I will ask you to go ahead and you are welcome to talk about any appointments, but I do want to just caution you that it's not really appropriate to talk about specific traits and individual things. So I just want to make sure that we keep this high level. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, tonight, if we do vote on the appointment of the new HR director, I will be voting no. I'm very concerned about his employment in multiple towns and the reputation he has developed as adversary and confrontational with public employee groups. We are the all heart city, and I think it is that is taken very seriously. Our employees are best resources in providing quality public services and interacting with the public. I am uncomfortable with some of the litigation and accusations that have involved him. And while I understand that there are always 2 sides to a story, I don't think that this is where I want to start from in terms of a new hire.
For the record, I would like to state that I don't want to move into an issue where we're making unfounded accusations. So HR directors are involved in many very difficult litigations, but there have been no founded accusations throughout the career of the gentleman that we'll be talking about today. So I just want to make that clear for the record. As we move forward, I actually would love to maybe take the opportunity, and this I'm putting her on the spot, which she's not going to be very happy about, but our first appointment is actually a motion to discontinue the appointment of Linda Milia as the acting director of human resources. Gentlemen, I did talk about this. It will be effective on January 11th because that's the day after her last day of employment. So we'll have a short little gap, but that was intended. So I need a motion first, if I could, to accept that begrudgingly.
So moved begrudgingly. I don't want to second it, but I will begrudgingly.
Yes, and it does create a difficult situation for us here in Bristol. So I just want to highlight this, that, Linda has been with us for 18 years. I should also add that the person that will be announced very shortly. Worked with Linda in Waterbury, had a very good working relationship, and Linda has been personal friends with him for 20 years and was part of the committee where we have done extensive background checks and done vetting and 2 rounds of interviews with multiple people, including one of our city council people, through this process. So it's a great process, and I want to congratulate Linda on a job well done. She will be missed, and by the way, she did promise me that we will probably have to bring her back for some consultation and for some overlap to go ahead and bring historical knowledge and help to our new HR director. So congratulations, Linda. We do need to vote first. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
Motion, so you are against letting Linda
Oh, no,
retire?
sorry, no, she can retire, sorry. Wrong. No, you still can't retire though.
All right, so for clarity, we'll do this again. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, the next motion that I would like to entertain is to appoint H. James Hasselkamp as the Director of Human Resources. That will be effective on January 13th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Well, can we make the motion first?
So moved.
All right.
Sorry.
And we have a second from Susan. Again, I would just want to say that a 30-year career for an HR director in 7 or 8, I think, communities. The process was a lengthy 2.5-week process with 2 rounds of interviews with most of our HR department, with Cheryl, myself, as well as Diane Waldron, with many, and you all saw the reference letters that we got from the last 3 places that he's been. And I talked to Jim today. He is somebody that is up for this challenge, and it is a big challenge because we have quite a big hole in our human resources departments. So I will call this vote unless anybody has any other comments. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Nay.
So we have 1 opposition and the motion carries. Thank you very much. We have a couple of other city employees that are up for reappointment, so I move on to building. So I will entertain a motion to reappoint Rick Brown as our chief building official, and that term will expire in 12/28.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Corp Counsel, we have the reappointment of Thomas Conlon to Assistant Corp Counsel. That term will expire in 12/29.
Move approval.
I have a second.
Second.
By the way, this is one of the only ones, a little embarrassing too, by the way. Didn't even talk to Tom. Usually I do this like a month ahead of time, and I think by charter I'm supposed to do that too. So we didn't even give him a choice. So he needs to come back. Tom has done a great job, and he is that angel on my right shoulder that takes care of an awful lot of stuff. So congratulations, Tom, I think. Hang on 1 second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, that's all we have on the city level. Sebastian, I am going to skip the cemetery commission, but, oh, go ahead. Oh, city engineer, it's just further down, so let me do that one here. Ooh, did it not make it on this? Oh, and here it is. I'll entertain a motion to appoint William Stango to a term that will expire in 12/28.
So moved.
Second.
And this is a great one too. So this is an internal person that's kind of moved up and got his PE, comes highly recommended by Ray, and was very excited to take this position. This is a position technically that we've had open for, I think, 2 years of my administration here. So he's excellent, done very well. So very excited about that promotion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion carries. So now we're back to Cemetery Commission. As I was speaking, we will just wait 1 month on that one to be official and clear. On ECD, we need to reappoint Dave Mills to a term that will expire in 12/29, and then reappoint Lakita, which you remember, she was just appointed last month, but because the term ends, we need to reappoint her again, 12/29.
So move.
Second.
Right? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion carries. On the Energy Commission, we're going to actually replace Mark's position, which was a community position, and we're going to appoint Jason DeConti, and that term will expire on 4/25.
Move approval.
Second.
Second from Sebastian. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. On the Bristol Housing Authority, we would like to reappoint Ada Aviles. She is the community member, and her term will expire in 12/29.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. On the Housing Code of Appeals, excuse me, we have 3 reappointments. So we are going to reappoint Tim Gamache, term to 12/27. Reappoint Aaron Thibodeau, term will expire 12/27. And Christina Costa, term will expire 12/27.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. On the Park Board, we're going to reappoint, we'll do these separately, reappoint Leonard Lamoth to a term that will expire in 12/27.
Move approval.
Second.
And Lenny is here as well, too, very knowledgeable in the park staff, and Lenny knows what's going on. Well, we didn't approve it yet, Lenny. Hang on one second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
There you go.
You're welcome, Lenny. Well deserved. All right. We also need to replace Emily Michaud, and we are going to replace her and appoint Aaron Weber, and that term will expire in 12/26.
Move approval.
Second.
And this is actually kind of an interesting story that I want to tell. So Aaron is a relatively newer person, but I think it's 6 or 7 years now. So I say newer person, but grew up in Pennsylvania. He works for the Eastern Region Little League, has had some past political experience. So really good fit on the park board for somebody who is working with the Eastern Region Little League. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. On the Police Commission, we have 3. Make sure you don't miss any, but I think we're good here. We're going to reappoint Rory Gio, Paul Lemieux, Gloria Sapp. All of their terms will expire in 12/27.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Sewer Commission, we need to reappoint Liz Phelan or Elizabeth Phelan and reappoint William Cunningham. Both of those terms will expire in 12/27.
Move approval.
I need to get that one.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same appointments for Water Commission. They're basically a combined commission now, but they're still different in the charter. So reappoint Liz Phelan and William Cunningham. Term expires 12/27.
Approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And on our Youth Commission, we have Renee Singleton. She needs to be reappointed. Her term will expire in 2027, and 12 of 2027. It is noted that she is 18. She won't be 21, so she's the under 21 representative until May of 2027. So we'll deal with that in May of 2027, but let's reappoint her at this point.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Erica, Ed, did I miss any? We're
What's-
good? Excellent.
I just saw one, and I may be on a different thing, but building.
I jumped down and then came back up, so we got building. So that was Rick Brown as the chief building official, actually, within building department. All right,
Jumped over.
get back to our regular thing here. Contracts. First one, 11A. So this is one that I will actually ask for a tabling indefinitely because it was put on the agenda prior to our ARPA meeting to hold a space. And originally, the ARPA guidance that we got is that we could have interagencies MOU. So we were going to take some of that money, like the $288,000, and put it towards another project. But because that project isn't defined specifically, we decided to put it to the firehouse. So we do not need to take up this contract or this motion. So can I have a motion to table indefinitely?
So moved.
Table, definitely.
Jackie got that one.
Second.
Second. Any questions on that? I see some puzzled looks here. Just want to make sure you're clear. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. We are on B, and this is the award to Ford Motor Credit purchase for the Connecticut State Contract number 19PSX0161. It's a lease-to-own contract for 3 vans at 4 consecutive annual payments of $41,184.12, and an additional lease-to-own the contract for 1 Ford Explorer to be paid in 4 consecutive annual payments of $11,353.29, and refer to the Office of the Corporation Counsel for contract review and authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effect the said contract.
Move approval.
Second.
And this is a Board of Ed request. They're looking into leasing vehicles. I think the information is what you see in the packet. I don't know that I have anything else to add. Do we have any questions or comments?
To the chair.
Yep.
I was just wondering, what are they using these vehicles for? I mean, there's quite a few of them here.
Yeah, so they have vehicles that allow them to go from school to school. Mostly these types of vehicles that they're looking at are the vehicles for the painters, for the facility workers and managers and things of that sort, from what I understand. But Roger might have a little bit more information. I don't know if you do, Roger, either. Oh, Lynn Boisvert is up there. Lynn, can you add? Is that LS? I don't, oh, Lynn's iPhone, I see it there. Lynn, can you come off mute and just clarify for us if you would? This got held up a month too, so I don't, my memory doesn't recall 2 months ago exactly what this was, so.
That may
Roger.
not be her.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, the Board of Education does have a number of vehicles in their fleet, and it's used for things such as food service, but primarily for their maintenance operations.
Yeah.
Their painters, electricians, and the like that go around the district.
And if I'm not mistaken, these were very old vehicles, like 2000,
2000,
2001, that
that's
they were
correct.
replacing.
That's correct.
2001.
And these are new vehicles?
These are new vehicles, yes.
All right.
And they feel that they can come up with a cost savings by leasing, so we'll see how that works.
Okay.
All righty. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next is to entertain a motion to award contract 2C25-036, installation of sidewalks within Rockwell Park to Martin Lavero Contractor in the amount of $177,803.75, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effectuate said contract.
Move approval.
Second.
And I talked about this through the ARPA program. Yeah, I think I am right on this one. This is the one that went over budget, so we reallocated money to it, but it's fully covered by ARPA funding. And it's going to mainly do all the sidewalks in around, especially the new garden and connecting all of the monuments from that area and the new parking structure, and eventually a bathroom, correct, on this one? Oh, no, this is
That's the
Rockwell.
next
Sorry,
one.
this is Rockwell. That's the
That's
next
the
one.
next one.
Yep. A lot going on this month. Roger, you can clarify for us. Did you have a question though, Eric, or a comment?
Yeah, I was just wondering if any of that has to do with it's all in the park, or is it on the streets adjacent to the park itself?
Yeah,
I
I
know
just
there's some
confused the
uneven
project. The
sidewalks
next one
there.
coming up is that one. Go ahead, Roger.
It's actually all within the park.
Okay.
If you're familiar with the park, there's the bathhouse, the old bathhouse.
Yes.
And then a little bit east from there, there's an athletic field. It's basically providing connectivity around the athletic field. There are a number of physical fitness stations as you go around there. It's a rough trail. They're basically formalizing it to make it more ADA accessible.
Okay.
So while I'm here, I'll also just talk briefly about the next one on there for Veterans Memorial Boulevard. And it was on that one that we have connectivity between where the parking lot is on South Street,
Right.
all the way down through to where the tennis courts used to be, around the monuments. And at one point, we had discussed having a bathroom facility adjacent to where the parking lot is there. And for the purposes of timeliness, it's been removed from this project. And we're basically, earlier in this evening on the consent agenda, you approved us to engage a professional architect to design a bathhouse that will then construct later as a separate capital project.
Great. So for clarity, I was correct in that this is the project, the second project that we'll vote on in a second was under budget. The one that Rockwell was over budget, but we've evened those out, both ARPA projects. So on the table right now, we have the approval for the contract for just Rockwell. So any other questions on Rockwell or comments? All those in, all
I was
those,
just
oh,
gonna-
sorry.
I was going to ask if it would if the sidewalks were ADA compliant, and you did answer that.
Yes, they are.
Yeah, thank you.
That's kind of what they're trying to accomplish, to
Right.
make it so it's more pedestrian friendly.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you,
And
Roger.
that will be going forward with all of our park renovations, more than likely. So, well, it will be, because you can't renovate them without doing that. But all right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? So then I will also entertain a motion for the second contract we just talked about, 2C25037, renovations to the Veterans Memorial Boulevard Park to Stony Brook Construction LLC in the amount of $100,931, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any and all documents necessary to effect said contract.
Move approval?
Second.
Great. We don't need any more discussion on this or questions. Good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion passes. I'll entertain a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute a tariff agreement with the Connecticut Light and Power Company, also known as Eversource Energy, relative to a non-residential renewable energy solutions, which is NRES, revenue sharing agreement between the city of Bristol and Greenskis Clean Energy LLC, and to refer to the Office of Corporation Counsel for review.
Move approval.
Second.
Great.
Oh,
Question, go ahead.
this
Or
is
comment.
that one they presented to us a while ago, right?
Correct. There were
That was in, yeah.
two presented to us.
Yep.
This is the one that's come forward and citing council has approved, correct,
Okay.
Roger?
Very good.
Was there a second part of the motion?
Yep.
Maybe there is, but if there is,
There are two motions that are
Two
connected.
separate.
connected.
Thank you.
So, well, yeah, no, and so E and F are separate here, so we're just on E right now, but you'll get to the second one in a second then for me, Susan. That'll be good. Any questions or comments on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? That motion carries. Go ahead, Sue, read the next one for me.
I make a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute a NRES municipal revenue share agreement with Green Skies Clean Energy LLC as a solar development partner for a 20-year term, and to refer to the Office of Corporation Counsel for review.
Second.
Great. And so this is just the contract part of it and the term. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're on G, so I'm gonna have Erica do this one because we had a slight change, if I'm not mistaken.
To amend contract 2P23-051, construction manager at risk for construction of a new northeast middle school with D'Amato with Downs joint venture in the amount of $63,315,724, and to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any documents necessary to amend said contract.
Great. Can I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
Great. Little bit less, which is good, but we are moving this along forward. Roger, do you want to go ahead and give us some background on this one?
Well, I don't know if I'll give you background, but I will give you just a point of clarification.
Okay.
Is the amount that you just heard, that's the amount of the amendment? Basically, that's the value that takes in all of the construction trades and all of the other components that come in with construction. There was already a contract amendment that you had approved. The prior value was roughly $11 million. So the new contract total is now $75,022,647. So that still puts us in great shape for the project, but just so you have that for perspective.
And too early to really jump up and down, but we are trending below anticipated, total cost, right? From some
Absolutely.
serious
I think
cost
it's
savings.
roughly
So.
about 15 million that we're looking at. So the construction market has really turned around quite a bit. So, and we're fortunate to take advantage of that. So I thank our partners, D'Amato and Downs, for helping us get there.
Great. Any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Next is number 12, which is from Public Works. It's to, I'll entertain a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute a supplemental application with the Connecticut Department of Transportation Local Bridge Program for Jerome Avenue Bridge, and the state project number is 90174091 in the amount of $3,122,000, which is the project cost, and $1,561,000, which is the city grant.
So move.
Second.
Pretty straightforward on this. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. And then 12B, which is a motion to authorize the mayor or acting mayor to execute any and all documents associated with the FEMA project completion and certification for Storm Isaias. Said authorization shall include execution of all documents associated with the city's final reimbursement request of $89,306.97 for storm damage.
Move approval.
Second.
Any questions on this? This all happened before we were here, but we're closing this one out. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Number 13 is the animal control facility, and this is a resolution, so we will do a roll call vote and stop me if I start calling it. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Be it hereby resolved that the City Council of the City of Bristol, Connecticut endorses the completion and submission of a grant application to the State of Connecticut Office of Policy and Management's Regional Performance Incentive Program by the Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments for funding to support a regional animal control facility center located in Bristol, Connecticut. Be it further resolved that the mayor or acting mayor is hereby authorized to enter into, deliver, and execute any and all documents relating to this application grant, including but not limited to any final grant documents, and to do so and perform all acts and things which he deems necessary or appropriate to carry out the terms of this application/grant.
Second.
Great. And so this is an RPIP grant. We're actually applying through NVCOG. It is a rolling grant process, which means there's really no deadlines to apply. The money is sitting there. There's quite a big pocket of money there, and the state is looking to incentivize regional programs. We already have a regional program, so we will be moving forward with that application with at least one other town, maybe two towns, but we already have our agreement with Plymouth. We do hope to get a significant contribution to the project. We've already authorized $2 million. We know it's going to actually cost more than that, unfortunately, but the $1.1 million is going to be on us for the building, which we decided earlier. Did I miss anything?
No, NVCOG has been fabulous. They've been working hand in hand with Lindsay, with Roger, with Ray, to put in Corp Council to get all the necessary documents. Their confidence is high. Nobody has brought forth a regional project yet. And so this would be the one to spearhead and start. And so that helps motivate the state to look at this because others might start taking advantage of programs. So this would take a financial burden off the city as well. We're very excited for it. And I don't want to jinx, but confidence is high. I think so.
Moving it forward. Yep. Let's hope. All right, roll call.
Councilmember Dicko,
Yay.
Councilmember Olson,
Aye.
Councilmember Paniotto.
Aye.
Councilmember Rosengren,
Aye.
Councilmember Tebow,
Yes.
Councilmember Tyler,
Yay.
Mayor Caggiano.
Yes, motion carries. Let's hope that happens quickly, by the way. So they say it's administrative, so it could actually happen pretty quickly as well. All right, we will be moving into executive session, and I'm going to ask Attorney Korwicki to review those that we will be taking up tonight, because I know there was some potential change. We are taking up all three. So who is coming in with us this evening? Two tax appeals. We're going to act on both of the tax appeals, so he'll be in for both of those, so B and C. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. All right, I think we have our quorum back. Just as a reminder, we were in executive session. No votes were taken. I would like to entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And Cheryl, I think you have the first motion. Go ahead.
Okay. I hereby move that the City of Bristol enter into a full and final settlement in the matter of Wesley Hoadley versus City of Bristol, WCC files number 601075239, 601096941, 601051351, 601041851, 601065749, 601057240, 601063101, 601101352, 601054708, 601030810, and for any and all workers' compensation claims filed by Wesley Hoadley for the total amount of $60,000. The dates of these claims are listed below, but are not limited to the following: May 9th, 2000, April 5th, 2002, August 5th, 2003, June 30th, 2004, May 11th, 2005, June 30th, 2005, July 18th, 2006, August 14th, 2007, July 16th, 2008, August 4th, 2008, January 16th, 2009, January 29, 2009, September 28th, 2009, August 10th, 2010, December 7th, 2011, December 30th, 2012, January 23rd, 2013, August 27th, 2013, July 14th, 2016, September 7th, 2017, February 26th, 2018, January 16th, 2020, July 15th, 2020, April 28th, 2023. I further move that the mayor, acting mayor, corporation counsel, or assistant corporation counsel be authorized to execute the full and final settlement.
Can I have a second?
Second.
It was like reading a spreadsheet, by the way, which
Yes.
fit you well. And I don't want to make light of that. But anyway, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Item B, we are going to take no action. And then Sue, you have the motion for C.
Yes. I make a motion, I move the litigation matter Superior Court docket number HHB-CV-23-607-8983-S. Instant Property Solutions LLC versus the City of Bristol be resolved by stipulation for judgment, which authorizes the assessor to adjust the grand list value of the property to $175,000, and to further authorize the Corporation Counsel to execute the stipulation for judgment.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? There is no other business to come before us, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I like to, on
Oh.
15, where it says any other matter to come before.
Oh, yeah. Do you have something?
I
Sorry.
do. I actually forgot to bring it up under new business. It's about the nursing homes.
Okay.
There's some information that, I mean, as you already know, Countryside Manor, and Sheridan Woods almost closed back in November, which could have and actually did ruin a lot of the workers' holiday season. Sheridan Woods has 146 beds, 127 of them currently full. It's 87% occupancy. Countryside Manor, 90 beds, 81 full, 90% occupancy. Sheridan Woods just recently received 20 patients from another Athena Healthcare Systems, Abbott Terrace. So now they're going to take this one after they close that one. They're going to close another one. It's going to put a lot of people out of work, which we have discussed. The city actually can do something about it. The city can look for a new buyer, for one thing, can work with the state with economic development. Economic development information here with the city. Public funds could be used to help out these facilities. There are other things that can be done too. I mean, there's the excess ARPA funds that was allocated earlier today. Those could have been allocated to help out these facilities, to continue these facilities. These are different things that could have been done to help out these facilities, but instead, you've been pushing them off saying, there's nothing we can do. There is something that the city can do. We can't just sit there and go, oh, there's nothing we can do. They're just going to end up selling or whatever. They're going to close them. We need to do something to help these people out. That's almost 300 employees. just for the city. Now, when they're talking about moving these people, they're talking about moving them down the shoreline. How are they, I mean, how are, some people can't visit their relatives down at the shoreline from this area. I mean, my grandmother and my aunt were both in Sheridan Woods. Their husbands had problems just getting from one side of Bristol to get to Sheridan Woods. There's no way that they can get down to the shoreline to see their relatives. So I really think that we should be doing something to help these facilities out instead of just saying, oh, there's nothing the city can do. And that's what you have been saying.
Yeah, I would disagree with maybe the full tenor of what you're saying, because the city doesn't have authority to do a purchase unless they work with DSS. We have reached out to DSS. We're not going to have an argument and debate here.
Didn't say anything about a
I
purchase.
appreciate your comments, and we have reached out to DSS. Justin and I are looking into this matter. We had a meeting with Kurt Barwis, and we're doing things in the background, but this is a serious problem that I acknowledge. So I will acknowledge all of your points on the fact that we do not want to lose this facility. But unless you have $15 or $20 million sitting in your back pocket, I'm not sure there's too much the city can do.
I didn't
So
say anything.
I will
about-
entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Have a good night.